Hello and welcome to another edition of Sneak Peek Critiques from the Writer's Nexus. Sneak Peek Critiques are all about the first 8 lines of any story. Most editors and literary agents will tell you they usually know within the first 8 lines whether or not they want to keep reading the manuscript. So that's why I think it's important to examine the first 8 sentences of best-selling novels. Today we are looking at Finders Keepers by Stephen King. This is a psychological thriller. It's also a New York Times #1 bestseller. It's also the second book in a trilogy. The first sentence is, "Wake up, genius." All right, now the chapter title is 1978, so this is back a number of decades. But this particular sentence is just brilliant. A lot of book reviews that I've read have said the same thing, that it's just one of the best ever. And I know it seems simple, but there's so much in those 3 words. It's also dialogue. Dialogue is action. It suggests movement. It's sarcastic. Whoever is saying it is telling this genius to wake up. Genius could mean that he might be stupid. Genius could mean that he actually is quite brilliant. Or she. We don't know that yet. But I think it's just a phenomenal first line. And Stephen King is known for his layered approach to his characters, so I think this is just a fabulous first line. So let's move on. The second sentence. Rothstein didn't want to wake up. Now we've got a name of the guy who might be the genius. He didn't want to wake up, probably because he could tell that whoever was telling him to wake up could be a problem. But now we've already been introduced to 2 characters here within 2 sentences. This is important. It keeps the story moving. So let's move on. The third sentence. The dream was too good. That's why he doesn't want to wake up. Rothstein wants to continue sleeping so he can continue his wonderful dream. So now we know that he's being interrupted somehow. Again, the intrigue. We don't know exactly what's going on yet. The fourth sentence. It featured his first wife months before she became his first wife, 17 and perfect from head to toe. Okay, so now we know more about Rothstein. So it suggests that he's at least middle-aged. If he's talking about his first wife being 17, he probably was around the same age. So it gives us an idea of who Rothstein is. That he could be a bit of a romantic. He's dreaming about his first wife when she was a teenager. So let's move on. The fifth sentence. Naked and shimmering. Okay, so Rothstein is really into this dream when he's got somebody telling him, wake up, genius. So now at this point, 5 sentences in, we're ready to find out more about who's telling him to wake up. The 6th sentence. Both of them naked. It's almost like Stephen King is trying to get us to ignite our imaginations to envision Rothstein's dream with him. Yet we're still wondering about this guy who's telling him to wake up. Let's move on. 7th sentence. He was 19 with grease under his fingernails, but she hadn't minded that, at least not then, because his head was full of dreams, and that was what she cared about. So now we know that Rothstein has always been a bit of a dreamer, and that he is used to manual labor, or at least he was when he was younger, and that he understands what love is. However, we're still wondering about the person telling him to wake up. And also, again, notice how he's playing with short and long sentences. I love how this creates a lot of tension in his writing. Okay, let's move on. The 8th sentence. She believed in the dreams even more than he did, and she was right to believe. Okay, I think if we examine this particular sentence, the way it's worded and how it's punctuated, I think is very deliberate. She believed in his dreams even more than he did, comma, and she was right to believe. That sets it up like Rothstein has a supporter in this woman, and she believed in his dreams at a time when nobody else did. So for some reason, 7 sentences out of 8 are about Rothstein when he was younger and a dreamer. So apparently this is an important thing for King to present to us. That's also, sexy and romantic. This is saying a lot right now. Although I would like to know more about the person who said wake up genius at this point, but I'm still very intrigued. So the burning question is, do you want to keep reading? And for me, yes, absolutely, definitely. And in fact, I have read this book as well. This actually was my favorite of the trilogy. It's just masterful. Slowly sort of turning the screws right until the end. So that was another edition of Sneak Peek Critiques. We were discussing the first 8 lines of Finders Keepers by Stephen King. Please visit the website, thewritersnexus.com, and I wish you many imaginative tales.